Now we have come to the session 3, promoting best management practices, showcasing the resilience and learning. Showcasing the top 5 companies of the Best Management Practices Awards 2024. So now I'm going to invite the session chairman and one company representative, each for following 5 companies. So we'll be invited to the stage. So I'm going to invite the session chairman and the moderator now. May I invite the session chairman and the moderator, Mr. Sushant Silva, the managing director, RM Parks Limited. And also the companies, Colombo Coffee Company Private Limited. May I invite the representative of the Colombo Coffee Company Private Limited. And DFCC Bank. May I invite a representative of the DFCC Bank? And the next is Lanka Harness Company Private Limited. A representative of the Lanka Harness Company Private Limited. And Talawakale Tea Estates PLC, a representative of Talawakale Tea Estates PLC. And TJ Lanka PLC, a representative from TJ Lanka PLC. So while you're having the presentations, you could also have 2 representatives from your company. So now I will read the scope of the competition. In a commitment to championing the best management practices, the Institute of Chartered Professional Managers of Sri Lanka, CPM Sri Lanka, proudly organized its award program, the Best Management Practices Company Awards 2024. This marks the 3rd consecutive year of this event, and CPM Sri Lanka continuing this tradition due to the overwhelming success of the previous 2 editions. The awards are recognize and celebrate exemplary management practices within companies during the year 2023. They acknowledge outstanding leadership, commendable policies and strategies, effective people management, successful partnerships, resource utilization, streamlined processes, and remarkable performance. The awards not only applaud excellence, but also serve as a valuable framework for management teams to reassess and challenge themselves within the context of their respective organizations. Today, we can see 5 presentations chosen among the companies that show best practices during 2023 while recognizing their leadership, policies and strategies, people management, partnerships and resources, processes and performances. So now I invite the session chairman to commence the session, Mr. Sushant Silva, Managing Director, RM Parks Limited.
Thank you very much. Firstly, I must thank the CPM that invited me to chair this session. And it is really encouraging me to talk about a few words before our presenters start their presentations. Firstly, this is not going to be a competition because they have already gone through the competitions and they have won the awards. And they are going to share actually what they are doing, what they have done, and give some insight out of their businesses that can be used as a sample for your own business development. So actually, I would like to quote one thing our chairman, founder chairman of CPM said yesterday, that we all are responsible to be the best practitioners for our country. It's not the social responsibility, it is going beyond that. So I think we all have to understand this particular aspect, and going forward, we all have big responsibility to develop our country together. So these 5 companies, 5 founders of these best management practices are going to showcase that what they have done. Now before that, I just wanted to ask you a small question. I'm not expecting an answer, but answer yourself. What is the best management practices? Is it applicable only to the business? Or is it applicable to even the person concerned? Because this management word sometimes might say it's applicable to the business. No. Management means ourselves as well. So therefore, without taking a lot of time, I would like to quote one book which I have read few times. That is written by Jim Collins. This Jim Collins wrote this book. He wrote few books, and this is Good to Great. So best management practices will take us good to great, not good. Good is not sufficient. I was interviewed by one of the American company, and they asked me, who are the people you should have? I mentioned good people. They said, no. Good people not enough. You must have great people. So good is not enough. So we need good to great. So I think all of you, and including me, we need to drive ourselves into the best management practices in ourselves as well as in our business or everywhere we go. So without wasting time, let me invite our first presenter, not the contester, because they are already contested, Colombo Coffee Company, to give their presentation, which I believe that we all will learn a lot. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Minali Rajapaksa from Colombo Coffee Company.
I'm Rashmi Samaravira.
And I'm Kushan Samaratna. And we are here today to tell you what the best management practice that Colombo Coffee Company had in 2023. But before moving there, let me tell you a small story as to how Colombo Coffee Company came into the industry. Over 10 years ago, we understood that there was a massive gap in the market. There are not even the 4-star, 5-star, or even the bigger cafes were serving a proper cup of coffee. At that point, we decided that we need to change this, and we started importing Lavazza, one of the most sold commercial coffees in the world. But when we started importing coffee, we realized we need coffee machines as well. And then we partnered with a lot of reputed brands in the world to bring in the coffee machines to Sri Lanka. When you have the coffee machines, you of course need the technical team, and therefore our technical arm was born. All that is fine, but we understood that if the baristas are not trained enough, then no matter what coffee machines or what you have, you still can't serve a great cup of coffee. And thereby, our training arm got developed. That's the story of Colombo Coffee Company. And today, we are the largest total coffee solutions provider in Sri Lanka. Backed by giants like Akbar Brothers, the largest tea exporter in Sri Lanka, Ironwood Capital, one of the largest private equity firms in Sri Lanka, Jewel X Trading, and Aravinda De Silva, the ICC Hall of Famer. We have an over 85% dominant market share when it comes to the 4-star, 5-star hotel categories in Sri Lanka, which is our main market.
Yeah, you can see the 360-degree view of Colombo Coffee Company with this chart. So we serve coffee for all your coffee needs. Coffee including coffee beans, coffee powder, coffee capsules, coffee bags, and many more coming in future. We provide coffee machines, we import the well-known brands, and also we have a research and development department which serves you with all the skills to be one of the best baristas in Sri Lanka and all over the world. As well as we have a 24/7 available technical team and other departments as well.
Coming into Bob, which reads out to Beyond One Basket. What is Bob for Colombo Coffee Company? Why Bob was introduced to Colombo Coffee Company? Before Bob was introduced, we were an organization that was limited by our own limitations. We were an organization that was bounded. We were inside a box. But once Bob was implemented, we understood that there are endless possibilities when you think of continuous development every single day at every single you do. So what is Bob? It asked 5 simple questions. Number 1, what more can we do? 2, is there a better way to do this? What are the limiting factors? How to mitigate those limiting factors? And finally, how can you stretch your boundaries? This 5 together accumulates into one single, simple question we answer every single day. How can we continuously improve ourselves every single day at every single task we do?
So what was the challenge that we faced in 2023? So we were a company that was solely dependent on the HoReCa sector. And from 2019, the pandemic year, to the political instability in the country, we came to realize that we can't depend on the HoReCa sector anymore. We can't have all our eggs in one basket. So we decided, as an initial plan, we decided to diversify our business. And the conscious effort to diversify was in 2023, where we decided to move to the corporate sector, the retail sector, the export sector, and as well as white labeling. So we, from there onwards, we started looking at how can we continuously improve our business on a daily basis, like how can we improve, how can we, where can we set our foot in this business. And Kushan will tell you how we executed this management practice in the company last year.
When we talk about the execution, I'm going to go into 4 different points. Number 1, we had to realign our entire employees to adapt to this new segment-wise focus we had. When we start the year, we only had 4 in our sales team. But we realized that if we only go like this, we'll never be able to be successful. And today, we have different teams looking after exports, different team looking after HoReCa, different team looking after corporates, different team looking after white label, different team looking after retail. And we have a specific manager hired just to address the key accounts. Number 2, finding better ways. So sales is just one angle, right? So when we talk about the operations team, for example, we had to realign how our operations teams are, because how you look at the operation for HoReCa is absolutely different when you look at retail, the operations that we have to do. I'm sure most of you here will understand that. Number 2, finding better ways of doing things. I'm going to bring in 2 examples on this. We are an organization that is heavily interested in Sri Lankan coffee, but we never had our own roaster. We were using an outsourced option, and we realized that it is not giving the results we are looking for. We had to improve ourselves, to do the research that we want, to improve our process, to improve the product that we do. We realized that we need our own roaster. So in 2023, we made the conscious effort to invest a huge amount to bring down our own roaster. Number two, we were an B2B company. Retail, we never really cared about before making a conscious effort on it. In 2023, we realized that if we are going into retail, we need to be at the correct places. And today, we have 3 retail outlets, one at Ward Place, one at Golf Fort, and the last one coming up in December 2023 at One Golf Face Mall. Probably the best place that you can be at when you talk about retail sales for a product like ours. So a company that was not even thinking about B2B, to have an outlet at a location, a premium location at that, like One Golf Face, that's what improving every single day, every single aspect is for CCC. When we talk about improving our processes and practices, again, I'm going to talk about 2 things. We implemented a new ERP system for our organization in 2023. Before that, for the past 10 years, we had a free version of an accounting software. But we quickly realized that it was becoming a bottleneck for what we are trying to achieve. Now, selecting the ERP was not easy because we had to select the correct service provider, correct product for us, something that creates the biggest impact for our business, answering the business problems that Colombo Coffee Company had. So we took more than 70 vendors, we evaluated them under different criteria, and then we dropped it down to 10. We spoke to all these 10, we dropped it down to 5, we had demos with those 5, and finally figured out who the best partner is. Number 2, we are very, very interested in exports. In 2023, we wrote to over 1,000 roasters in the world. Our response rate was only 2%. No one knows Sri Lankan coffee. Even to that 2%, when we sent samples, either they went silent or they came back and said, your samples are not that great, your prices are too expensive. But we were still very interested in doing exports, and we realized that if we are going to do exports anytime soon, we need to think about value addition to our products. And there came the flavored coffee. We did flavor coffee packs, we did flavor coffee bags. Today we are doing RTDs, we are doing a lot more on the value addition of coffee as well. And I'm happy to say, in 2023, for the first time in the history of Colombo Coffee Company, we managed to do 3 export orders. And the best part, 2 of them have already returned in 2024. All this accumulated into thinking in a new way, thinking in a different pattern, which enabled Colombo Coffee Company finally to go to a level where, for the first time in our history, we ended up hiring a business development manager. That's how critical developing our business, thinking outside the box, improving ourselves for Colombo Coffee Company today. All this is nice, but what about the impact it created? Colombo Coffee Company had its best year, both top line and bottom line, in the history of the business in 2023. The top line went up by 58% compared to 2022. Top line is nice. Bottom line is, of course, much better if I can. Okay, finally. Bottom line is much better. Again, in 2023, our year-on-year growth on the bottom line, EBITDA level was 48% and PBT level was 65%. How did we achieve this? This is not with our normal hotel and the cafes going up. As you can see, our corporate sector sales went up by more than 80%, and our retail sales went up by more than 83% year on year. If you look at even further, you can see how low our numbers were back in 2019. Results are great, but how do you sustain this? And to talk about that, I let Rashmi take over.
Thanks, Kushan. So talk about sustainability. I think the health of the business is the most important thing. So we had 2 critical situations when talking about the health of the business. One was the reliance on one sector and relying on one product. So talking about reliance on one sector, we were heavily reliant, we were heavily depending on the hotel sector. As you can see, in 2019, our dependency on hotels was 75%, which we managed to make it 50% in 2023. And also, we managed to improve our sales, improve our sectors, diversify our sectors to retail, corporates, cafes, white labeling, and many more. And this was while we were growing up our numbers and keeping up the same customers continuously. So then we were heavily relying, heavily depending on coffee beans. So we were at 68% in 2019 with coffee beans, and we managed to make it 50% in 2023 while making the other categories, the machinery, retail products, and other products to 33%, 13%, and 4% in 2023. Sales are nice, numbers are nice, and also we should think about the environment as well. So we decided to shift from foil paper packaging, which takes 80 to 400 years to decay, to kraft paper packaging, which makes 12,000 packets annually, makes 720 kilograms annually. So we didn't want this as a company. We wanted our company to serve the environment really good. We needed to think about our environment as a company. So we moved from foil paper packaging to kraft paper packaging, thinking about the environment.
Okay, we will continue looking at the sustainability angle of Colombo Coffee Company by using the triple bottom line model. So there are three dimensions to this. This is the economic dimension, the social dimension, and the environmental dimension. Economic dimension, I think we already discussed about this in detail, and we can see how successful 2023 was for Colombo Coffee Company with the figures that we have presented before. Looking at the social dimension, this dimension was very important for our internal stakeholders as well as our external stakeholders. So for our external stakeholders, by using our concept of BOB, we have provided more employment opportunities, and there are more women participating in the coffee sorting process now. And also we have uplifted the life, the standard of living of these farmers, smallholder farmers. We also had strategic partnerships with Lanka Coffee Association last year, where we organized All Island Barista Championship, which gave opportunity for baristas to improve their skills. And they also, we were a part of the coffee festival, the Sri Lankan Coffee Festival last year, where we got a chance to showcase all our products that are available to the Sri Lankan market. As well as, so this is all about the external stakeholders. So our internal stakeholders were equally important for us at Colombo Coffee Company. Last year, we have looked at many opportunities for our team at Colombo Coffee Company. This included trainings conducted by SLIM and CPM. We are also participating in Toastmasters clubs. We have several cricket matches and so many entertainment opportunities within this last year. And we still look at continuously improving the standard, the opportunities at Colombo Coffee Company. Finally, the environmental dimension, we have looked at, as Rashmi mentioned before, we have moved into foil paper, from foil paper to kraft paper packaging. And we used to use plastic cups and plastic stirrers for our office solution packages. And we have moved to using wooden stirrers and paper cups.
Excuse me, the time is over.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can. Yeah. So you can.
Yeah. So this actually led to Colombo Coffee Company achieving 3 national level awards during the last year, and for us to stand here today in front of you. What is BOB for Colombo Coffee Company? It's not just sales. It's not just one department. It's about continuously improving every single aspect of our business every single day. It is our way of doing things at Colombo Coffee Company. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. It was really good presentation.
Good job guys.
How did I say that it is a good presentation? I didn't see anybody sleeping. Just after the lunch, you know. No, I'm just saying. It was really, I mean, you can see, I can imagine what things are going in your head right now. How you should be next time in the competition. You would have got a lot of gains from this presentation. Without taking more time, I'm now inviting the FCC Bank to do their presentation. Thank you.
So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, CPM, for this opportunity. I'm Nilmini, and my colleague Lakna and I will take you through this presentation based on the FCC's journey in relation to the best management practice, which we adopted in 2020 that made us win gold yesterday at the Vibrant Awards night. So looking at the company background, DFCC is the first bank, development bank in Sri Lanka, as you may all know, and we were the oldest in the region. We are now close to 7 decades in existence and is the lender in terms of green development projects, is the preferred lender for projects such as solar, waste energy, hydro, and so forth. In 2020, we embarked on a sustainability strategy which we pegged under the theme of resilience with a 10-year roadmap in place. It is the progress of one of these milestones in the bank's sustainability strategy that recognized DFCC as the overall winner of the Gold Best Management Practice Awards for 2023. Let me also take this opportunity to tell you that DFCC Bank became the first Sri Lankan entity to be accredited by the Green Climate Fund, which is definitely an achievement towards the greener future. So if you look at the challenges we faced were many. It was external as well as internal. We had to change our attitudes, mindsets in the way we carried out our day-to-day banking operations, but nevertheless, we continued our roadmap that we commenced in 2020 towards our goal of becoming a carbon neutral bank by going paperless, which is today one of the best management practices that is driven by our board and the top management that involves ongoing monitoring. Before this management practice was introduced as a bank, we were continuously using printed documents for our day-to-day operations. We maintained storage facilities for these documents, used a lot of valuable office space for storage of these hard copies, incurred cost on infrastructure such as racks, cabinets, and so forth. We also used up a lot of productive time of our staff to file these and store these and so forth. And we also created a negative impact through the use of paper to the environment. The year 2020 was a milestone year for DFCC. With the outbreak of COVID, we worked together with a consultant who put together a strategy for us for the future, and the birth of a 10-year sustainable strategy was seen at DFCC. One of the goals of this strategy, like I mentioned before, was to promote a positive environment, impacting the environment in terms of becoming a carbon neutral bank by 2030. And of course, going paperless. The best management practice we are about to talk to you falls under this sustainability strategic pillar of becoming a carbon neutral bank by going paperless. As a bank, paper documents are key, but however, our objective in 2024 is to look at being paperless 100% internally and 50% externally by 2025. A subcommittee was put in place to ensure that the initiatives ran across the bank continues. And now Lakna will take you through the rest of the presentation in telling you how we executed this strategy across the bank. Over to you, Lakna.
Thank you, Nilmini. So let's talk about the execution part of it. So if you are looking at the initiatives, so we looked at 3 main things. So first one being re-engineering of processes and paperless business operations. As you would know, we are a commercial bank, and banking traditionally is a very paper-intensive business. So we looked at re-engineering our processes. And secondly, we looked at introducing green products, which thinks about the environment. We'll go into details later. And also we looked at how we can reduce printing as a behavior, how we can change this. So looking at re-engineering efforts, so if you look at a commercial bank, there are so many hundreds and thousands of processes that we follow on a given day. So what we did was we gave sort of like a challenge. We made it into sort of like a game we gave the responsibility to department heads. So they had to identify what are the processes that they can re-engineer amongst themselves. So if they could achieve at least 80% or more of paperless operations, we would certify them as paperless operations. And one of the department heads are here with us today, so he managed to achieve 100% paperless within that department. So likewise, there were some other departments who managed to go completely paperless, and some was in in the ranges of 80. So like that, because we gave the ownership, the honors to them, there was a lot of uptake and they were very interested, we recognized them. So it created a culture of actually taking the ownership to make the change as opposed to somebody else coming and telling them what to do. So that was a great learning for us also. Then the other thing, another big one that we looked at was use of technology. So we looked at implementing workflows, and whenever possible where automations can be done, where we used to take applications from customers to register for certain things, we basically automated them paperless. And we introduced digital signatures. And another big win for DFCC is that we very aggressively, we started promoting e-statements as opposed to paper statements. This actually became very helpful for our bank, because as you would know, a couple of years ago during the Aragalaya times, we didn't have paper in the country. So we didn't have a problem as much as some others may have, because we had already embarked on this journey of moving towards paperless. Then some other initiatives was distribution of salary slips. So salary slips traditionally would come to you in the form of a paper, but now we get you have to log into the portal and download it as a PDF. So actually it became very easy for our employees also, because earlier if they wanted a certified copy, they had to go to HR. So I'm sure you get the gist of it. So we looked at the benefit that it would bring to the company as well as the employees. So we will get into that later. Then we are looking at green products. So one of the interesting products that we came up with was basically deposits that were backed by green projects. Yeah, so if companies are interested in placing deposits at DFCC, and those deposits would be used to lend for green projects. So that's a new product. And apart from that, digital products, we are heavily promoting digital products. So that way we are cutting down on our paper footprint. Then, yeah, so I'm not going to rely on this. So as another initiative, sorry, just bear with us. Yeah, so skipping ahead. So as for the environment, that's one thing. And what we did was we looked at the impact on the company as well as people. I mentioned that. So one thing, when it comes to change, something that you yourself would find when you try to make changes like this is the resistance that comes from within. So DFCC is no different. In her introduction, you would have heard that it's almost a 7-decade-old company. And we have people from all walks of life with different attitudes. So, so what we did was we really explained to them, like many of the panelists before said, communication is key. So we explained what is the benefit for them and what is the benefit for the environment, and we recognized their efforts. So that way we got the buy-in. And the other most important thing is the buy-in of the top management. So this is an initiative that an individual or a team in a corner, they can't do that. This has to come all the way from the very top. It needs to have the sponsorship of the correct people, and it needs to be monitored. So bank-wide steps were taken, and you can see a management committee is available that is chaired by the CEO, and we have subcommittees, and all the results are being monitored on a monthly basis. So we have to see where we are going. Is there a real benefit of all these things that we are doing? Otherwise, it all becomes, to borrow Dr. Samantha's words, we'll all be beach bums or snorkelers. We'll never be, diving deep. Yeah. So if you want to really dive deep, you need to be monitoring. What gets monitored gets done, right? So that's what at DFCC what we believe in. Okay. So sustainability is a way of life. So we have done quite a bit of things. Unfortunately, our presentation was not really, helping us today. But I believe you got an idea as to what we tried to do. So what we did was we made it a part and parcel of the normal business. If you try to keep this kind of transformation as a one-off project or like somebody's pet project, it will not work. It needs to be embedded into your core business, and it needs to have the correct sponsorship, and it needs to be monitored. And people needs to understand why we are doing. It needs to be a purposeful business. And what Professor Lakshman Vatavalu said was, this is about management practices. We are not talking about theory. So it needs to be put into practice by the correct people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, DFCC. As we all know, any country, any economy that runs, the live wire of the country is the banking sector that handles the entire financing system. That is common to any bank or any country, any economy. So when we see the banking sector doing the best practices, that means the live wire of the country is working well. So we have many banks in Sri Lanka. So we are now proud to have DFCC winning this medal and doing what they are doing. And also getting into technology is something that we need to appreciate. I'm sure all the other banks are listening to this, and they will be here with a real competitions for next time for the best management practices. In that respect, CPM is doing a great job in promoting the best management practices. So therefore, without taking further time, I will invite the next company to do their presentation, that is Lanka Harness Company Private Limited.
Good afternoon all, and thank you so much for giving this opportunity for the CPM. So my name is Pabudhu Dirivira, and my colleague is Mekala Dunwila. We are at Lanka Harness Company Private Limited. We are manufacturing automobile safety sensors and harnesses to the high-end vehicles like Toyota. So we established in 17th of December 2002 by Dr. Rohan Palewatta. And also our core businesses are seatbelt safety sensor manufacturing and harness manufacturing. Our quality, 1 ppm quality, which means 1 part per million defect tolerance rate. That is our quality. So our production capacity is 20 million, over 20 million per annum, and our turnover is 1,500 million LKR per annum. So we export our products to 17 destinations, such as Japan, Romania, India, France, Malaysia, Germany, and most of Europe countries, and also the USA. So these are the products, these are the vehicles we are manufacturing for them, like Toyota, Honda, Mitsubishi, Saab, Subaru, Aston Martin, BMW, Benz, and General Motors, GMC, Subaru. These are the some customers of us. And our challenge. You all know last couple of years, we have electricity cost is very increased and transportation cost and also the labor cost. Not only the internally, externally the global crisis is there and the currency of the yen dropped down and also the higher shipping cost and initiate harness company near a car manufacturing plant in Thailand. So that is the major disaster for us. At that time, you can see the screen, July and August, we had a major issue for our company. That is because in Indonesia, they had found some defects, which is taping defects, insulation taping defects. So at that time, the first time in Lanka Harness, our team went to Indonesia and recheck and sorting all the things. So airfare cost and the accommodation, transportation, that is very, very bad incident for us at that time. So we already had that so many practices in our Lanka Harness life, and also we think about another best practices for the Lanka Harness. So I will hand over next slide, Mekala. Please.
Thank you, Pubudu. Ladies and gentlemen, from here on, we will be talking about the best management practices of our company. So, current management practices implemented and tested within our company are Six Sigma, which is a tool we use to improve the business process by reducing defects, errors, minimizing variations, and increasing the quality and the efficiency. And the next one is the Lean. It also used to improve the employee and company performance by eliminating the waste of resources and process product defects. And the next one is 5S, which is used to organize the workplace by using these 5 principles, which are Seiri, Seiton, Seiso, Seiketsu, and Shitsuke. The next one is TPM, which is also known as the Total Productive Maintenance. PDCA, a continuous loop of planning, doing, checking, and acting. Even though we had all these management practices for the past 18 years, we had to face that critical issue mentioned earlier. So, we decided to implement cost of poor quality as our best management technique. We decided to implement this because it analyzes in depth the financial and non-financial losses. So as you can see in this figure, cost of quality is a combination of cost of good quality and cost of bad quality. So, cost of good quality is where we allocated our funds for the prevention and appraisal. And the cost of bad quality is the cost for the internal and external failure costs. Below are some of the benefits we were planning to achieve by introducing COPQ. Financial impact, competitive advantage, customer satisfaction, sustainability, customer loyalty, continuous improvement, operational efficiency. Execution of COPQ. As you saw in the previous slides, our internal and external failure cost was way more higher in the past situations. So, as we all know, there's a famous saying that the prevention is better than the cure. So, this graph is an example for that. So, as you can see in this graph, when the preventive cost is increasing, the internal and external failure cost is decreasing. So with that concept, we started to invest more on prevention. The following steps were taken during the execution process: quantify quality cost, identify improvements, drive quality improvement initiatives, enhance decision-making, where the decisions about resource allocation, process improvements, and strategic initiatives. Maximize customer satisfaction, optimize cost efficiency. With this graph, you can see the gradually decreased failure costing from September 2021 because of this after the implementation of COPQ. Just to talk about our achievements, I am really proud to say that we are the first to achieve International Automotive Task Force 16949 certification. So, and in this process, COPQ is a critical requirement. Because of this IATF certification, new orders and gradual increasement of order quantities were taken place. As an example, the latest Suzuki order project from Romania. In here, the customer specifically required that the manufacturer must have IATF certification, anti-static protection room, which is approved by the Toyota Manufacturing Corporation in Japan. Gradual increase in current order quantities. In India's order, as you can see, in August 2022, the order quantity was 20,000. But within 1.5 years of time, our company was managed to increase the order quantity from 10-fold, which is now up to 200,000. Not only the order quantities, but also the new customers. So Filec from France is our newly added customer due to our achievements. Results and sustainability. Significant increase in net turnover and net production. As you can see in these graphs, net turnover of 2021 was getting lower, while the net production of 2021 was getting higher. The reason behind this incident was Lanka Harness basically manufactures two types of products, which are sensors and harnesses. So in this, during this time, the company was focusing more on manufacturing manual sensors. Normally, we received a customer evaluation report from time to time. So with the time, the company was managed to increase the quality by reducing the PPM level, which is from 0.8 to 0.3. And this was all because of this COPQ effect. Now, I would like to invite Pubudu to do the final phase of our presentation. Thank you.
To maintain a quality, there are so many inputs in our senior management, not only in Sri Lanka, in Japan also. So we have 4 MRMs, management review meetings, a year, and conducted with virtually committed that Japanese collaboration and Lanka Harness. And also we have continuous auditing. There are third-party audits and also second-party audit. Most of the second-party audits conducted by Toyota, Honda, and also the Skoda. And we have KPIs each and every section. We would have to present that all the KPIs to the management, and also definitely our Japanese company would participate for that KPI performance meeting. And also for the training, Japanese experts, we asked them to visit Lanka Harness, and we asked them to give their valuable instructions for us. So that kind of things continue in Lanka Harness most of the times. And also once a year, there are 12 employees going to Japan for the training. This is our root cause analysis and improvements. The POKAI-OK, which means error-proofing methods. There are lots of error-proofing methods identified by Lanka Harness, and that is very best practices for mitigating the defects among the employees. And also there are process automation and technology. Image processing preventive actions are taken place in Lanka Harness. And also the latest validation methodologies, which means there are some specific machines, scanner machines are in Lanka Harness. Then there are cut monitors, vertically, horizontally they cut and provide for like Toyota. And this type of sheets we provide each and every day for our clients. And also there are risk management and contingency planning. Planning is going in Lanka Harness. So I think non-financial benefits motivate more than financial benefits for the employees. And also we have that 3H, which is Japanese words. First H is Hajimete, second H is Henko, and third H is Hishachiburi. Hajimete, first one is Hajimete, which we are going to start a new product. Defect can occur. Second one is Henko, which we are doing our production in the production flow. Lack of awareness is there. If lack of awareness is there, then getting some defects. And also Hishashiburi, which means, let's say order demand is 0 for continuously 1-2 months. Then the order demand is coming for the company. Then we are reproduct that product. At that time also can occur defects. So those of so we practice as a team, and we have cross-functional team also. So that kind of management methods are in Lanka Harness. And also, I would like to say, we are protecting human lives. Our vision is that day we can see 0 fatalities and accidents in the world. So thank you so much for joining Automobile Safety People. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, the Lanka Harness team. This gives us a different segment of thinking, I suppose. Every one of us are driving cars. I'm not too sure whether how many of you knew that this particular harness and these particular products are inside the car that is manufactured in Sri Lanka. So I think we should be proud about it, and bringing the manufacturing concept into our country. We have been in the service industry for so long. Now it is time for us to become an industrial revoluted country, and then this is the best example that we have. So I think every one of us must start thinking now about these best management practices, the way that they have sounded, 0 accidents or 0 defects is something that we have to address ourselves, not only in our business, also in our life. How many of us are going to doctors without our carelessness? That is also not a best practice. So without taking time, let me invite the next presenter, Talawakale Tea Estates.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. While my team comes up, I have great pleasure in introducing Sena Kalavathegama, our CEO, and Ms. Sangita Dharmasekara, the head of HR. I'm going to introduce an initiative to you that demonstrates or manifests our commitment to empowering our female workforce, and that is going in line with our ethos of Haley's Plantations, which says doing good is good for business. So Haley's Plantations has 3 companies, and Talawakale Plantations is one of the 3, the leading company in that setup. And as you know, Haley's is a diversified conglomerate. And our vision for Talawakale is to brew a better future in every sense of the word. All of you know that Ceylon tea is the world's finest tea, and we believe that the people who contribute to this finest tea must have a better future. And in doing so, we have introduced an initiative that is far off the beaten track. Just to give a brief and a succinct introduction to our company, we are custodians, or we provide custodial care for almost 42,000 people resident in our estates. From the usual language in planting we call, from womb to the tomb, we provide total custodial care. Housing, health, sanitation, and all the other amenities, providing an equitable livelihood and empowering their living is our responsibility. Apart from that, we have 16 estates, mainly concentrated in the high grown and some in the low grown. And we are known the world over for producing the best cup of tea, manifested by Talawakele Plantations being the #1 ranked company in tea in terms of quality for the last 10 years and the most profitable plantation company in Sri Lanka. And what we can claim is, apart from all the other certificates, we have emphasized a lot on improving the human care and human quality of our people. As you can see, we are the first company in the whole world to be certified as a great place to work, and particularly coming from an agriculture background and such as a plantation industry with a very controversial legacy, lot of false narratives, but nevertheless we were bold enough to enter, and we have got an approval rating of 97% from our own people and not from management. Apart from that, we are certified as a mother and child friendly estate, and these are some of the certification accolades in relation to the human aspect. And what is the business challenge that we face? As all of you are aware, tea plantations has a rich history of 150 years, and traditionally our legacy has been, because of the nature of the industry, because of the outdoor nature and 24-hour work commitment, it has been a male-dominated and male-dominant industry. You can see the managers, while we had opportunities given to females, because of the strict and tough nature of the business, they went away. But managers are males, field staff are males, field kanganis are generally males, but all the people who add value and who are really critical to the industry are females. So, stepping back, as I told you, we have a legacy of 150 years as any other plantation culture in the world. Our female workforce constitutes almost 60% of our total workforce. And of that, the most critical element of people who earn the revenue for the company, the pickers, are 96% exclusively. So if you look at the work environment, because of the male dominance, male hierarchical system, there is a lack of empathy naturally because of the top-down ordering system, especially in the kanganis and staff. And this male dominance goes across the fields in the growing section, while we have female AOs and female factory officers and obviously female medical staff. So there is a lot of miscommunication, misunderstanding because of the language and the intent and the content issue. And obviously there's a lack of empowerment. And if you look at the non-work environment, if you work in the plantation sector, we have experienced there's a cultural and a historical legacy where the females think the males can lord over, males can dominate over the people. That's unfortunate, but that's the reality. And because of this situation, there's a lack of self-worth. People think that they have to always be subject or subjugative to the males in the house, and they do all the difficult, hard work. And for us as an industry, we believe that the females are the most important, most critical aspect or element of our business, because they are the ones who generate revenue. And harvesting is the only revenue generating operation in the estate. And because of the multiple roles that women play in the estate, in the workplace, she's a very dominant contributor as an economic asset. And when she finishes work and goes home, she has to look after the house, care for the family. And unfortunately, in the plantation sector, because of the tradition, because of the legacy, because of the hierarchical pattern that they are used to, patriarchal model in this community, females, even if they are tired, they have to do all the work, while men after 1:30, I don't know where they are. So that is unfortunate, which we want to change. So, as I told you, dominant feature of our industry is male-dominated field support staff. And as a result of that, we have several challenges. That is a limited female role models in the field. Then the cultural resistance to change. Women accept that they have to be second class to males and they don't want to change. And the rest of the women also don't want one of their own people to be above them. And of course, industry-wide cultural bias because of this century-old industry and generally resistance to change. So this is the challenge, the reality we had. And what is the best management practice initiative they undertook is to overcome tradition, break the shackles of this century-old system, and to revolutionize the tea industry with gender diversity and empowerment. And we started a program called Her Lead, promoting young women, meaning from our own community, from our own plantation group, as field supervisory staff. And to explain more about that, I'll hand over to Sangeeta.
I will just brief the process what we have taken to implement this project called Her Lead. That's in 6 steps actually. The talent attraction and selection and interviews, inauguration ceremony, comprehensive training, graduation, and appointed 24 young women as the female supervisors. You can see that how we have attracted the talents. We did the poster campaign among the community, and the interview, we got more than 450 applications, and that was a very difficult task. And our own state managers, they did the interviews and selected people. And we had a very good inauguration ceremony at Tea Research Institute, Talabakele. You can see those pictures. And the comprehensive training we have provided to them, not only the field, even the non-field work also, we have trained them, the communication skills, leadership skills, teamwork, all those things were trained. And this is another special event for them actually. We have arranged a study tour to Colombo for 2 days residential program, and this is our Haley's chairman. They met the Haley's chairman, and even though I'm an existing employee, still I haven't got the opportunity to have a friendly chat like this. And this is another training what the TRI has given. So we have introduced a special uniform for them for their identification. And after the training actually, then we did a written and practical exam for them. All people have got more than 65 marks. And after that, they had the graduation with their family members. And you can see those pictures. Actually, all entertainment activities were done by their talents. I will hand it over to CEO to show the results.
Thank you, Sangeeta. The 150-year-old tea industry is mainly dominated by males. Although there are about 60% females working, it's dominated by males. So, we at Talawakale decided to bring this revolutionary change to the traditional management practice of males supervising females. So, as it was mentioned previously, 60% of our employees are females. 96% of them are employed on harvesting. Harvesting is the most critical, important factor on a plantation, which is the only practice that brings revenue to the plantations. But it is been supervised 100% by males. So we discussed and we brought this revolutionary change into the revolutionary management practice in changing the traditional way of looking at things. So this resulted in an increase of 17% in the field supervision category, and we were so far able to keep 100% retention because everyone who joined us are remaining with us. And a 97% employee satisfaction rate, which was an audit conducted by Great Place to Work, has proved that we have had 97% of employee satisfaction. And more than that, it improved the motivation of our female harvesters because they see a future for their children, educated females on estates. And now there is a huge demand for this project. And although we are unable to accommodate all their requests, we, as a service to the industry, we have decided that we will take in batches and train more and more females in supervisory category. So how do we sustain this? It is through internal advocacy groups who will keep on giving regular feedbacks and advices on how successfully we can continue this. And also through visibility through media and PR programs, and sustainability through integration, documentaries, and case studies. So ladies and gentlemen, this groundbreaking initiative won the Crib Challenge, which was conducted by the Center for Child Rights and Business, which is also an organization affiliated to the Save the Children Fund. So you can see the smart or the beautiful image of those smart female supervisors, the historic group of females who have taken up this supervisory role. Now I invite you all to watch a short video on this project.
So this is another unopened frontier that we want to reach in terms of women being responsible field officers.
I got this idea, I was wondering why not get females to do the supervising, because it will be easier for them to interact with them, to come up with their issues, and they will be much more open, and also as an opportunity for the young educated girls who are on estates. So that's the reason why I had got this idea, and then that's how we got about it.
450 applications கிடைச்சதுல ரொம்ப கஷ்டப்பட்டு எல்லாருமே graduates apply பண்ணிருந்தாங்க, undergraduates apply பண்ணிருந்தாங்க, எல்லாரும் A level qualified, O level qualified. So ரொம்ப difficultiesக்கு மத்தியில senior manager HR-ம் அதே மாதிரி எங்களோட DGM HR-ம் இவங்களோட கோஆபரேஷனோட அவங்க ஷார்ட் லிஸ்ட் பண்ணியிருந்தாங்க. 50 அப்ளிகேஷன்ஸ் ஷார்ட் லிஸ்ட் பண்ணியிருந்தாங்க.
நான் வந்து டேங்க் போட்டு ஸ்ப்ரேயிங் பண்ணேன் மேம். அது வந்து எனக்கு ரொம்ப பெருமையாக இருந்துச்சு. அம்மா அப்பாவோட இடத்துல இருந்து நம்ம ப்ளக்கிங் பண்ணும்போது அது எப்படி இருந்துச்சு, நல்ல ஒரு எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ். நான் இந்த ஃபீல்டில் போயிட்டு நல்ல கட்ஸாக வேலை செஞ்சேன் மேம். நிறைய படிக்கணும் இதுலேருந்து. இந்த ஃபீல்டுலுக்கே வேலை செய்கிறது மட்டும் நம்மளோட வேலை இல்லையே மேம், நிறைய விஷயங்கள் கற்றுக்கணும் மேம்.
Harvesters are most of them actually the female characters. So to supervise them actually, to have a lady is really good, because when they are having some problems, so they can discuss with the female supervisor.
තේ දල්ලක් කඩන එකේ ඉඳලා අපි පානය කරන තේ කෝප් එකට කොහොමද එන්නේ කියන එක වෙනකල් ගොඩක් දේවල් අපි දැනගත්තා. අපිට හැමදේම වගේ මේ ක්ෂේත්‍රයේදී කියලා දුන්නා.
இந்த துறை இன்னும் மென்மேலும் கொண்டு போறதுக்காக இருந்தா இவர்கள் வந்த பிறகு இதுக்கு மேலும் இன்னும் நிறைய பேர் இந்த துறைக்கு வருவாங்க நான் எதிர்பார்க்கிறேன். ஏன்னா அவர்கள் கற்றுக்கொண்ட விதத்தை பார்க்க அவங்க வரைக்கும் பெருசாக இதை பற்றி ஒன்றும் தெரிஞ்சுக்கொண்டு வரல. சின்ன அம்மா அப்பா எஸ்டேட்டில் வேலை செய்கிறாங்க, குழந்தை இருக்காங்க, அது மட்டும்தான்.
Kanganis or foremen are generally of the male kind. So I have experience here and there. We have tried this out where women tend to lead. There's more cohesion, more understanding, and as a result, it's a win-win for both parties.
Someday, my idea is if these girls perform well, they have the path to go up and even join the executive grade in the fields.
මට මේ ෆීල්ඩ් එකේ මගේ තියෙන දැනුමත් එක්ක මගේ තියෙන අධ්‍යාපන සුදුසුකනුත් එක්ක මට යන්න පුළුවන් ඉහළ තැන මොකද්ද? එතනට මම අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම යනවා කියන හැඟීම තියෙනවා. මේ මං හිතනවා මට කරන්න බැරි දෙයක් නැහැ කියලා.
When you mention about Talawakele, we go to St. Clair. That's a waterfall that we have, beautiful waterfall we have in Talawakele. And also, wherever you go, outside Sri Lanka, if somebody mentions tea, the other side will say Ceylon tea. So that's how that we had our ownership of tea. The world knows Sri Lanka, not as Sri Lanka, Ceylon tea. So thank you very much for Haley's to doing all this great job. And it's a marvelous presentation. I'm sure that all our audiences are now getting the way of best practices. So I'm not going to take much more time. We have seen how best practices should work in any company. It's not only tea industry, it's on everywhere. We also saw how Colombo coffee working. So, I mean, if we need, that little girl said, I believe that I can do anything. So likewise, we also can do anything and everything. So we only need heart for it. So let's work on it. I think every one of us, all our companies start doing the best practices. Who will be proud about it? It will be CPM who is promoting it. So let me invite the next presenter, TJ Lanka PLC. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Representing TJ Lanka, I'm Mendaka Hetitantri, Head of Engineering.
Hi, my name is Hasangi. I'm Assistant Manager, Business Analyst, and CSR.
To give you a little bit of a brief introduction about TJ Lanka, we are South Asia's largest weft knit manufacturing facility with a capacity of 100 tons of fabric per day. We have plants in India. We have 2 locations in Sri Lanka. One is a printing facility and one is a fabric manufacturing facility. TJ India has 55 tons of fabric capacity per day. TJ Lanka has 45 tons of fabric capacity per day. All in all, per year, we are able to manufacture 120 million meters of fabric. To put it into perspective, do you know what the Earth's circumference is? The Earth's circumference is 40,075 kilometers, which is 40 million meters. So with the annual manufacturing of our fabrics, we could wrap the Earth around the equator 3 times. That's the amount of fabric we manufacture per year. That being said, it brings us to the challenge. Although we are very happy with all the vibrant and colorful fabrics that we wear, we are the world's second most polluting industry after oil and gas. So to give you a brief idea about the consumptions, TJ Lanka per day we consume about 2.7 million kilowatt hours of energy. We consume about 4 million liters of water per day. A pair of jeans that you wear would require 10,000 liters of water from start to scratch. A cotton white shirt would require about 7,500 liters of water. That's how massive and polluting this industry is.
So, as Mendaka mentioned, we do see a lot of challenges externally as well, but due to the global economic recession we saw in 2023, our company actually recorded a loss of 2.7 million in Q1. Right. And our utility cost was around 10% from the annual sales, and our group utilization percentage was around 54, while our warehouse input was at around 16.2 million.
So just to give you an idea of how the electricity cost increased in Sri Lanka from July 2022 to December 2023. In July, it was per kilowatt hour, it was about 13 rupees and 20 cents. And it tripled up to 41 rupees by end of 2023. So that has a massive hit on our profitability. We are very energy consuming, we are very energy driven. So this had a direct impact on our profitability and margins. So what we decided was to do, even though we were driving energy performance enhancing projects, we started really focusing on the potential, because what is measured gets managed. So we decided to implement a real-time online monitoring system for utility initially. But then we saw the potential of this system, right? And we decided, okay, we can add on the machines to this as well. So we'll just briefly go through the presentation. I'll take the last couple of minutes. I'll show you a live demo of this system. So the whole principle behind this was data-driven decision making. The industries as it is right now in Sri Lanka, we run mainly on gut feeling decisions. So with the whole digitalization and transformation coming in, we as industries need to move forward with data-driven decision making, which is more accurate. Of course, the tacit knowledge needs to be there, but when you have data, it becomes much easier for us to make our decisions. We can track and trace, we have real-time alerts, we can get analytics, and we can optimize our processes. And last but not least, strategic decision making. For example, which brand, which make of machinery are we going to purchase the next time? Because we have all the insights now. We have the information, we have the data, we know how these machines behave. When you have all this information, you can make strategic decisions. So with all of this information, we identified the significant energy uses in our facilities. Machine categories, processes, stenters, dyeing machines, thermic heaters, compressors. Likewise, we identified these significant energy users with the data available, and we started focusing on these machine groups and these processes. And apart from that, we embarked on a journey of getting certified for ISO 50001-2018 Energy Management Systems certification. As of right now in Sri Lanka, there are only about 57 companies that are certified for energy management systems. We have all these environmental certifications, process certifications, ISO other certifications, but for energy management, there are only 57 companies out of 6,000 odd industries, 6,000 odd companies in Sri Lanka. So this is our framework. With all the information we got, we built a data-driven decision-making framework on what we are going to do to bring our cost of energy from 11% to 8%. Then we built strategies. Switch off what is not required. Common sense, right? Turning off what is not required. Looking at the production schedule, looking at the production plan, we can decide on which machines to run, which machines to stop. We didn't have this insight previously. Planning and execution. We can schedule machines, which batch to be produced in which machine, at which time. Optimizing set points. We have thermic heaters, we have compressors, we have boilers. Bringing down the set point by a 1 degree will save you thousands of rupees. So now we are setting up optimum set points for thermic heaters, compressors, and all the other energy utilities. And finally, monitoring and controlling. Continuously monitoring these things, because the data is available. It's just a matter of sitting in front of a screen. I can show it on my mobile phone as well. That's how simple it has become now. I can see the entire factory sitting remotely, sitting in my chair back home. I can look at the entire factory and the results. So with all this information, we are doing regression analysis, we are collecting all this information, we are seeing how these patterns are connected, we are looking at relevant variables, we are looking at how these things, how the entire system is connected. And with all this, we were able to save 2% on energy just in a single quarter. Out of 2.5 million kilowatt hours of consumption, 2% is a massive number. So these are some of the results. You can see the cumulative sum. Saved more than 300,000 kilowatt hours for the last 2 quarters.
So with all these improvements that Mendek was talking about, we were actually able to turn our results 180 degrees, and we declared a profit of 3.1 million in just 1 quarter. we were able to reduce the overall utility cost by 2% and reduce it to 8%, increase our group capacity utilization from 54 to 61, and improve our warehouse input from 16 million to 18 million.
Sorry.
Right. Sorry about that. With these improvements, it was not just a translation of this into economic benefits, it was a translation of this into sustainable benefits as well. As you can see, we have managed to reduce the electricity usage in TJ Lanka. And also we were able to reduce the GHG, our carbon footprint to the environment.
So with that being said, let me just move to my seat. I'll plug in my laptop and I will show you the system. I'll show you a live demonstration of how the system works. With every challenge, it's an opportunity for us because every change is a challenge and every challenge is an opportunity.
So this is how Mendaka actually sits at home and does his engineering work from home. Oh, so I think he's done now. No, you.
So you can see, this is the incoming power supply to our plant. Because we have 2 megawatt transformers. So transformer 1, 2, and 3, and the total consumption. Just keep an eye on the last circles, the green circles. You will see every 30 seconds, they would refresh because this is real time, this is live data. Keep an eye on the bottom circles while I describe this. So you can see all the phase voltages for all 3 phases. You can see the amperage, how much current the plant is drawing for each transformer, for each phase. And the 4th square, you can see the total current or the total kilowatt hours that was consumed by the plant. You can see from this refreshes, the page refreshes from 7:30 to 7:30 every morning. So you can see the 27,986 kilowatt hours consumed was from 7:30 in the morning today. So as of right now, since 7:30 in the morning today, TJ Lanka has totally consumed 89,225 kilowatt hours. So for about 8 hours. So put that into 3, that brings you to 2.5 million kilowatt hours per day. An average household would consume about 120 kilowatt hours per month. A pair of jeans would require 247 megajoules of energy. That's about half of your monthly energy consumption at your house. Right? And I can show you machinery, I can show you reports. Each single one of these tabs is actually either a machine section or a utility section. This is connected for electricity, this is connected for water, this is connected for steam. Let me show you how our stenters work. Stenters are these massive machines, about 40 meters long, and they are heated up to about 210 degrees to set the fabric. There you go. Right now, 2 machines are running. Stenter number 4 is idling, probably going over changeover. And stenter number 1, we had it turned off. Today, we had it turned off from 6 o'clock in the morning because it did not have production orders. And these machines consume about 120 kilowatt hours. So per hour, it consumes your monthly electricity consumption. And we have 10 of these machines. We have 37 die machines. I'll show you the die house. So these are die machines. So whichever is showing you a little itty-bitty green portion, those machines are currently running. And the ones without a reading, so those machines are currently idling. Ladies and gentlemen, I can show you India as well from here. This is India. These are stentors running in India. With all this information, we've been able to optimize our energy consumption. For example, we have massive chillers. We have massive central chillers providing air conditioning to the entire plant. So if you can see, from 4 o'clock in the evening, those chillers automatically goes to sleep for us to optimize energy. Previously, they were supposed to run 24 hours. I mean, why would you want to run chillers when you don't have people in the factory? Right? There are certain areas of the production flow that requires air conditioning. We have given air conditioning to those, but now these systems are automated. Let me show you the second air conditioning as well. So they go to sleep in the evening and they kick off again at 2 o'clock in the morning to make sure that the air conditioning is there when you come to your offices. Let me show you a stenter. Let me show you the amount of energy a stenter is using. This is stenter number 2. It's consuming about 120 to 140 kilowatt hours. So this is per hour. And also I can give you history records of when each batch went into the machine, how many hours it was running, how many hours it was idle, and when the batch came out from the machine as well. So with all this information, the potential of this system is only bound by your imagination. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, TJ Lanka. I think we have now finished 5 different presentations. I'm sure that everyone has got serious best practicing events that are now happening in our own country. I'm sure that we will have these things in our mind when we are getting into next step in our business going forward, that we will start doing the best practices. That will give us the results. Now we saw how technology helps him, and in a minute, and live data, and all that available with us. And we have to ask a question whether we are using these facilities and the technologies in developing our best practices. Thank you very much once again, all 5 presenters. And in addition to that, I would like to add a little bit more into the next year presenters. I'm sure that we will have more people participating in this Best Practices Awards. We need to also consider the ethical best practices as well. Sometimes we go ahead with our business business best practices, but we may sometimes forget about the ethical best practices. So we need to address that as well. Because sometimes we worry about the bottom line, and we wanted to achieve the bottom lines, we may sometimes sacrifice certain elements of ethical best practices. In addition to that, we also need good governance in our businesses, transparency in our businesses, because that will give us so many encouragement of the people who are really working. And we saw how Talawakale is working. The staff is changing. I don't know what the word, if we want to use the previous word. Previous supervisor was called Kankani. Now the lady supervisor, I don't know what name should be used. I'm just saying. So let me conclude this presentation by again quoting Jim Collins, The Good to Great. In his book, he says, if we have disciplined people with disciplined thoughts, with disciplined action, then you're automatically into greatness in the business, which means good to great, or best, or the good business practices. Thank you very much. I'll give you all, I'm really thankful to these 5 presenters. I think they are really eligible for their awards, so the way they presented. So I'm sure few of you will get the same awards next time from CPM. All the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So with that, we conclude our session 3, promoting best management practices, showcasing the resilience and learning. So I'd like to thank our session chairman and moderator, Mr. Susanta Silva, Managing Director, RM Parks Limited. And also would like to thank and congratulate the top 5 companies of VMPC Awards 2024, the Colombo Coffee Company Private Limited, DFCC Bank and Lanka Harness Company Private Limited, Talawakale Tea Estates PLC and Teacher Lanka PLC, and all the representatives. Please give a round of applause for them. So now to hand over the token of appreciation for our session chairman and the moderator, Mr. Susanta Silva, I'd like to invite Professor Lakshmanar Vatavala and Mr. Kutsla Disanayaka and Mr. Hinanayaka Bandaru, the Governing Council members, and Mr. Dilshan R. Sukralap, the Director of CPM Sri Lanka, to hand over the token of appreciation to Mr. Susanta Silva. And also would like to invite Mr. Dr. Samantha Ratnayaka.